So White House aides were in a bit of a panic on Sunday after Donald Trump retweeted a video featuring a man yelling white power at a group of protesters in Florida. So this actually happened at a retirement community. And so, I mean, it's the villages, and apparently there's some a civil war going on in the villages right now between the pro-Trump retirees and the anti-Trump retirees, and it's a fairly large community. Fascinating. So now, two unidentified White House officials told NBC News that the video had remained on President Trump's Twitter feed for more than 3 hours, and he could not be reached, which set off what they called a 5-alarm fire among aides to get a hold of the commander in chief. Only in the Trump administration do we have things regularly called five alarm fires, and where aides, it seems like every single day, are running around in a panic trying to undo something stupid that the president has done. I couldn't imagine that kind of work environment, but I would assume that people would want hazard pay. Just saying. Additionally, aides were unable to reach, initially, Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino in an effort to delete the post. So where was Trump during all this? Trump was reportedly at his Virginia golf club and decided to put his phone down. Oh, that's great. Now, look, he eventually got to that tweet and he deleted it after a few hours of it being up and after massive outrage. But it had been up for quite some time. So that led to the defenses, right? So first, let's go to White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, right? So now she told Fox and Friends on Monday, quote, "The president did not hear that phrase in the portion of the video. And when it was signaled to him that this was in there, he took that tweet down." Okay, so, hey, man, look, the president, he retweeted something, a video, without listening to it or watching it. Can you really fault him for that? I mean, he took it down. Now, Ben Shapiro also weighed in. He's going to take that a step further, but generally go with the same defense in this next video. Take a look.
Now, I think what actually happened here is the same thing that happens to a lot of people on Twitter. When you're bored, you just start retweeting things. And when you retweet things, you don't always watch the video all the way to the end. And President Trump, as we know, has the attention span of a gnat. Right? The president of the United States, he literally will not read presidential briefings that are put on his desk. They have to put them in bullet point form, and then he doesn't even read those. He'll ask for those to be shortened. Okay, the man is not famous for sitting there and reading tomes of Winston Churchill. Right? So when it comes to watching videos online, my guess is he saw a person driving past with a Trump sign, and then he just retweeted it. Right? That is the most likely explanation. Does anyone really think that President Trump, even the people who think that, wow, he's a racist dummy and all that, even those people, do you think that he really would intentionally retweet a video in which somebody is shouting white power, which is what happens in this video? Like, are there a lot of people who think that would be like just out of simple self-preservation? If he had actually known what was in the video, you think he would have tweeted it? Or is it more likely that, like everybody else, the sound was off on his computer, he sees a person yelling with a Trump 2020 sticker on the front of the golf cart. Trump loves everybody who loves him, and this is a simple fact of the matter, and so he retweets it.
Look, okay, so Ben Shapiro, interestingly enough, does raise a couple of interesting points that I would consider if it were anyone else but Donald Trump. So, I mean, again, I know he talks really fast, so it's like what? Okay, I didn't catch that. What was it? Let's go back. But no, his entire defense is, well, I mean, Donald Trump's stupid, so he doesn't think ahead of time, and he retweets things without watching them because he has no attention span. Well, congratulations, that's stellar defense, Ben. Stellar, right? Lazy idiot that doesn't pay attention to what he's retweeting or tweeting, and that's supposed to make us feel better. Awesome. Nailed it, Ben. Look, Ben Shapiro leaves one important thing out, though, in his defense, right? And that And that goes to his last question. Does anybody really think that he would do something like that? Somebody who, just based on like what the consequences would be for retweeting a video of somebody yelling white power, right? Yeah, most people wouldn't, because most people think about consequences. Donald Trump is an idiot and he doesn't think about consequences. Anybody who knows Trump, and again, Ben Shapiro even points out, like, yes, he has no attention span. He's not sitting there reading tomes of, of anybody, basically, because he doesn't read, has the attention span of a gnat. He's got all of that correct. And all the bullet points and stuff that he only pays attention to, 100% right about that. But again, he glosses over or completely ignores the fact that our president's a moron that does not consider the consequences of anything that he does. Kind of an important point that you missed there, Ben. I'm just saying. So, and look, that defense, it doesn't hold water. And let me point out why. In that deleted tweet, Trump lauded Florida demonstrators shown in the video, adding, "Thank you to the great people of the villages. The radical left do-nothing Democrats will fall in the fall. Corrupt Joe is shot. See you soon." So, look, in the time it takes to write that, right, you could listen to that video. And it's not as if this is a long video. And it's not as if he, like, even if, right, he doesn't have an attention span that is, more than a gnat. And Ben Shapiro's right about that. He doesn't have an attention span. That white power thing, that was 9 seconds in. You think Donald Trump can't pay attention for 9 seconds? There's no way he didn't hear that. There's no way. No. What's most likely is, yes, he saw the person. He was like, "Ooh, someone with golf cart that likes me. I like me. I love me. I love me too. Oh, white power, who cares?" Like, it's just something that it didn't register to him, right? And I know you think, wait, is that like a defense? No, it's a terrible defense, right? But the things don't register to him because he's stupid and he doesn't understand the consequences. And I don't think he's a white supremacist or really like a white nationalist. No, what he is an old school racist. And that's what he is. And he falls for the old stereotypes. Oh, black people thugs, Mexicans lazy, all that stuff. Asians super smart. Muslims generally dangerous unless you're rich. And then we love the rich Muslims, like people from Saudi Arabia. And so all those different stereotypes, right? And so that's the stuff he believes in. I don't think Donald Trump has any sort of ideology, white supremacist or Republican ideology. His only ideology is me. How does anything that I interact with in the world help me out when it comes to my money and when it comes to people loving me? And that's it. I think that he's too self-absorbed to really think about anything other than himself. And so that's why he doesn't see consequences. Okay. And so nonetheless, here you've got, again, Ben Shapiro and Kayleigh McEnany saying the president has no attention span, and that's why we should let it go. But we actually shouldn't let it go because that's actually a worse indictment. That defense of Trump from both of them is an indictment. We shouldn't have a president that has no attention span, that doesn't read his briefings, right? That doesn't read the things that put in front of him, that can't pay attention long enough to realize that, oh, that's going to look really, really bad. They think that's a good excuse, though, and that's sort of the irony about this. And I think look, the bar is low. It is so low that it's now underground. That they get to say, hey, look, president may be a moron, but at least he's not a racist. Well, no, because he is racist and he is bigoted. And it's that old school, as I explained before, stereotypical racism, where you don't have to be wearing a Klan hood in order to be someone who's a racist. You just have to have these thoughts and these ideologies and these, and to not pay attention to anything other than the stereotypes, because Donald Trump's not smart enough, doesn't read into it enough, doesn't care enough to read past those. And that's what makes him a racist. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.